What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I want to talk about something that I'm much better at, but I'm still dealing with, and that is people pleasing. In this video, I want to break down my thoughts on how it begins, the negative effects of it, and how to probably effectively start getting rid of it. And yeah, I'll just begin. So people pleasing, it normally begins in the childhood stage. Most of our best and worst learned behaviors are learned in early childhood. It's really something to think about, that our lives can really, the way our lives map out, and not some can be so influenced by our first 5 years of life to 8 years of life. It's really crazy. But so people pleasing is something that's learned out by kids, because your parents like when you do good things. Your parents like when you're being adorable. Your parents liked when you obeyed their rules. And when you did that, they rewarded you. Not necessarily with money, but with affection, love, the things that you wanted. So as a child, you probably learned as a child that the way to get love is to please. So you became a good pleaser as a child, which is why to- some toddlers, they know, if they know that their parent like something that is cute, that when the toddler does something mischievous, they would do that thing that the parent like, and to try to avoid punishment. So we learn this behavior growing up, and in a safe environment like your parents, it's okay for a little while. Why is it okay? Because your parents are not necessarily going to take advantage of that. Your parents, not all, I'm just saying, but just in the you most parents want the best for their children. So it's just like, because of that, they're not gonna they actually a safe person to play please with, if you understand what I'm trying to say, because they love you unconditionally. But the mistake some parents make is they don't wean their children out of this mindset, or the child doesn't. Some children develop this naturally, some don't, or the child doesn't develop the ability to stop people pleasing by themselves. So if the parent then doesn't wean the child and make the child aware that, listen, this doesn't work in the real world. This is not how you get what you want in the life. This is not how you get respect from people. This is not how you get love from people. This is not that people will take advantage of you. If your parent didn't sit you down and teach you these things as a teenager to young adult, you go out in your life trying to live your life by this old mechanism, people pleasing. You try you s- this you continue out of Since you were a child, you continue seeking external validation. So you start sacrificing yourself, because that's what you did for your parents one time. You didn't always want to obey your parents, but you wanted your parents' safety, you wanted their protection, you wanted their love, you wanted their affection. So when your parents asked you to do something, you did it. So you feel, as an adult, you still feel like that's how to do it. Somebody asks you to do something, you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway because you want their affection. Uh, somebody asks you to do something, you know you want to do it, but they say they don't want you to do it. But because they say they don't want you to do it, you don't do it. You abandon yourself. And what you're expecting is the love, that feeling of love and safety you got from your parents. And the frustration you're having in your life is you realizing that your life is nowhere near where you want it to be. You never tend to get what you want. People always seem to take advantage of you, and you're confused because in your brain you're like, I'm such a nice person. I'm doing so much. I'm giving so much energy. And so it's a really sad state to be in, because I actually call this a disease. It might be a little extreme, but because my experience with people pleasing has been so negative that it's like a disease that's in your brain for a while. Like, and it's something that it takes a while to stop. And you go through a lot of hell, and you because you're like you're in this hell of I'm a good boy. The stuff that would work with your parents. I'm a good boy. I'm a good girl. I get great grades. I in relationships I do over and above for my partner. Blah blah blah, etc. and etc. And you keep receiving less. You keep ending up in tough situations. And the harsh lesson people who grow up like this need to learn is life and people do not work like that. That is a fantasy that works only in certain places. People pleasing only works in certain places. In life, people will actually disrespect you the more you abandon yourself. And a person who comes from a people pleasing mind does not understand that logic, because what they understand is, if I sacrifice myself, if I subvert myself for you, you should see it as an act of honor. That's how the people pleaser thinks. But in the real world, when somebody realizes that they can get you to abandon yourself, abandon your truth, abandon what you want to do, if they could get you to do something you don't want to do, they actually start feeling superior to you. This is why you keep getting disrespected. You know, for some time in my life, sometimes when I would be trying to go out on dates, or in my dating life, I realized that I would be called lovely, I'd be called great, I'd be called all the great names. Oh, Talia, so this, is so this. But then when it came to hanging out, or when it came to meeting up, I'd get ghosted on that day. And it would hurt, like, but wait a minute, I thought I was being a good boy. Why am I getting ghosted? You see all the people you see the people pleasing thinking? And to give an example, this is when I started realizing people pleasing and all that kind of stuff though. But there was one time a girl actually invited me out. But at that time I had started learning that she probably wasn't really into me that much. So at the time we were supposed to hang out, I actually scheduled for something for me to do. She didn't even bother telling me that she wasn't gonna make it. She waited till the day after to say, "Oh, I was busy." And I'm just like, what am I doing? And this is a real hell for me. It's like, what was I doing that made her feel like I didn't even deserve a text, "Hey, I can't make it." What And it was not just with women, it was men too. Men would do, a lot of dudes that I knew who I call friends would do things to me, so like they weren't even thinking of me. Like they would cancel plans, create plans, and it's like, so no one is gonna tell me. No one is gonna tell me that this got canceled. And I was like, what am I doing? In my workplaces, my bosses would take advantage of me at times. I was like, what is it? I'm giving so much. I'm trying so hard. What is it that's causing people to disrespect me? And it made me cry when I realized this the first time and because I had to forgive myself a lot. But I realized it was because I kept abandoning myself. And it was because I learned as a little boy, be a good student so your teacher can love you. Be a good boy so your mother can shower you with love. And I'd carried that way of thinking into my adulthood, and I'd caused myself so much pain. And now I'm at a point where I'm focusing on not abandoning myself for nobody. Don't care who you are, don't care what position you have, don't care how pretty I think you are. I'm not abandoning what I think. And it's crazy how when I started saying no, when I started saying I don't want to do it, when I started ignoring people who ignored me, when I started to really stop abandoning what I knew to be true, it's funny how I have better relationships. And to my people pleasing logical mind that's still healing, it's not making sense. My life now is not making sense, because it's just like, why are people respecting me now? Why are people asking me questions before they do something? Why when somebody's going to hang out with me, they make sure they're there. You know what I'm saying? Like, to my people pleasing mind that is still healing, it's still weird to me. But it's all from the notion of, when people realize that they can't get you to move, they have respect for you. This is why sometimes in the world, you would see a man or a woman, right, who don't necessarily have the best character. They're not nice to people, you know. They're not. They don't go the extra mile. Yet people respect them. And I saw this at my jobs a lot. I saw that I was always on time, always did the most, was willing to stay extra hours. But when a meeting was held, I was talked to like I was a piece of trash. While there were people who would walk in an hour late, they would never stay over to help. They were respected. And you would see that in life. And I realized it was just a simple little change. It's not about becoming a bad person. It's not about becoming a person who doesn't have standards. I still go to work early to this day. I still go to work early. I'm still a punctual person. If I tell you I'm going to be here, if I'm hanging with friends, I'm not saying that I've become the person to walk into a dinner with my friends an hour late. No, I'm not that person. I'm still the person who's going to be there. But the difference is, in my internal life, I've said this: if somebody abandons me once, or if somebody disrespects me once, you're not gonna get too much time to disrespect me. And it's funny how people can sense that about you. People can sense when they can't mess with you. It's really it's rare. It's weird, but people can sense who they can mess with and who they can't mess with. They sense who they can raise their voice at and who they can't raise their voice at. And it's all about having that internal love for yourself, that internal fight in you. So if you notice these behaviors about yourself, or these people pleasing behaviors, it's hard to break out of, but you need to start finding what you believe and sticking to it. It's going to be hard at first because your people pleasing tendencies are going to make you want to abandon it all the time to please somebody to gain their validation. But think about it like this: to give a negative twang to it, that's very manipulative of you. For you to try to gain love from somebody by sacrificing yourself is actually quite manipulative. So if that helps you run away from this kind of thinking, think about it like that. You're not a good person, you're manipulative. Because it's just like, as I said, like the toddler learns young how to manipulate the weaker parent, because sometimes the toddler might notice the father or the mother is weaker, and the toddler would literally, when it does something mischievous, go to the parent who it knows is weaker, to try to get that love from them. And you brought those same toddler manipulative behaviors into the real world, and you think you're gonna let it slide with adults. It ain't gonna slide out here. Life will not reward you, and people won't reward you with respect. And life has started rewarding me just for being myself. Outside of people, the blessings I've started to receive, the mental clarity, I feel so much better. I'm happier in normal days. It's just like things would fall into place for me weirdly. People just walk up to me and be nice. Like just today, I had a business conversation with this lady. She has a big business and she was talking to me about it. It's just like things would just weird things happen, but it all came from a respect not I have for myself. And I'm not trying to please nobody. I'm not trying to manipulate love out of nobody. I'm either gonna get it or not get it. And if I don't get it, I'll be okay. I've set myself up to always be okay. So think about this and start your healing journey now. It takes a while to get over this, so start now.